Hi, everybody, and welcome to Calculating Your Macros. I am going to help you figure out what your ideal weight range is, and then also how many calories per day you should be having, and then also how many macronutrients you need to be having every day. That's carbs, fat, and protein. So, what we're going to do is we're going to get started by going to this website. And go ahead and just follow along. Pause the video as you are calculating your own numbers and then write them down. Okay? Here we go. So we're going to go to www.freedieting.com/ideal minus sign body weight minus body minus sign weight. You can see that right up here at the top. Okay. So you're going to go there and then you're going to put in your gender, and I'm just going to go ahead and do my own medium frame. Select that. You'll know what frame you are. And if you don't know, just guess. Okay. Medium is a good place to start. So I am 5'7", and then I'm gonna hit calculate. Okay, so this gives me an average weight range between 133 pounds up to 137 pounds. Okay, now I'm actually a little bit over that, and I've got a lot of muscle, and so what I do is when I'm working with bodybuilders or people who are interested in having more muscle on their body, what we're going to do is we're going to go back up here and we're going to actually select large, okay? And then we're going to hit recalculate, and then that's going to show me the max I should weigh, and that's about 146 pounds for my frame at that height, okay? Now, if I was to go beyond that, then I'm going to be a little bit too big. It's either going to be A, I'm going to have too much fat on my body, or B, I'm going to have too much muscle on my body. So for a good, an ideal weight range, you should always stay within the requirements of what your height and frame are going to allow for your body. All right, now if somebody is really tiny, you can select small and hit calculate, and their lowest weight would be 126 pounds. All right, so what you're going to do is just kind of take this as where you need to be as an ideal weight. So for me, I'm totally happy with where I am because I'm healthy and I've got muscle. So I'm actually above the medium frame. I'm actually coming in at about 141 pounds, and that's totally okay by me. All right, so what I'm going to do next with you guys is we're going to head over to the calorie calculator, and I'm just going to give you the web address here in the browser to make it easier on you. It's freedieting.com/calorie minus sign calculator. Okay, you're going to put in your age, you're going to put in, once again, your gender, and you're going to put in your weight. Then you're again going to put in your height, and you're going to select how many times per week you exercise. Now, if you're part of the Figure Fit program, you're going to choose 3 times per week, unless you're doing a little bit more than that. Maybe you've got an off day where you're doing a little extra workout. So that's exactly what I do. I do the Figure Fit workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I sometimes add in an extra workout. So I'm going to select 4 times per week. Then I'm going to hit calculate. And that's going to give me my different caloric intake needs at a maintenance, at fat loss, and extreme fat loss. Now, I want to just make sure that I make mention of this. When you are interested in losing weight, I never ever want you to go down to that extreme fat loss caloric intake, okay? Because it's really, really low. And when you start getting that low on a consistent basis, what's going to happen is you're actually going to ruin your metabolism. You're going to slow it down significantly, and it's going to actually prevent you from losing the weight that you want to lose. We want to keep our calories high, but still be able to lose weight. That's the ideal. You want to be able to have the highest number of calories that you're consuming and still lose weight. All right, so For maintenance, I'm at about 19, 13. Fat loss is around 15. And if I want to just go a little bit lower than maintenance, then I would select maybe something like 1700. Okay. That's what I'm going to take because I am not interested in losing weight. And I actually don't want you guys to start out at that fat loss number either. So what I want you to do is just go down about 200 calories, 2 to 300 calories on a daily basis. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this number, either maintenance or fat loss, and we're going to move to the next calculator. All right, that is right here. I'm going to make that easy for you once again. It's freedieting.com/nutrient calculator. And what this is going to offer you is your carbohydrate, your proteins, and your fats. And this is called your macros. You've heard me talk about this quite a bit. And when you know your macronutrients, it is so easy to get to the weight that you want to be at, because if you just maintain this number, it's going to be a great place for you to start and then get to your ideal weight and then manage and maintain that ideal weight that you want to be at and that is good for your frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put in 1600. Let's just say I want to lose some weight. And, let me just say this really quickly. This is called dieting. When you're going less than your maintenance, but that's okay. If you have weight to lose, then I do want you to select this number, the fat loss number. Now, if you are already at your ideal weight, then you can just maintain by using this maintenance number. All right. So you're going to plug in the fat loss number here. And actually, I'll just do that so I can guide you along. 1531. I'm just going to put that in here. So I'm going to put in 1531. Now, what I want to share with you here is that moderate to zone, these are not diets, or even low fat. These are not diets that I would absolutely ever recommend to anybody. Science has shown that we need to be lower carb. It's better for our brain. It's better for our insulin levels, our blood sugar. And so even at a low carb diet, that carbohydrate intake is at 25%, and that is actually even pretty high for people who may not even be moving very much. As an athlete and somebody like myself who's working out, this number is totally fine. And it gives me my replenishment of carbohydrates after I have expended those during a workout. Okay, so we're going to choose low carb. And what we're going to do is we're going to come on down here and we're going to click on calculate. And what I'm doing here is either 4, 5, or 6 meals in a day. So on average, I'm kind of, it varies for me. So I'm going to walk you through a couple different ways that you can modify your macronutrients on a day-to-day basis. So I'm just going to hit calculate, and that comes down here to the results. All right. So in one day at this number, I can have about 95 carbs, about 153 grams of protein, and about 59 grams of fat. Okay. So what I'm going to do with these numbers, sorry, I had to take a quick drink real quick. What I'm going to do with these numbers is I'm going to figure out what my meals are during the day. How many meals I'm going to have with carbs, how many meals I'm going to have that are protein and fat only, and how many meals I'm going to have that pretty much are protein only, okay? So my highest macronutrient is protein. And there's no way that I'm having 38 grams of protein in one meal. I'm just not doing it. So what I need to do is I need to take that number from 4 meals a day up to 5 to see what that looks like. Then that brings me down to 30 grams of protein per meal. That's more doable. Now, what if I do 6? Then that brings me down to 25. And to me, that number is perfect because here's the way that I look at this. You're having, for protein, there's a lot of different ways to get protein. There's vegetarian sources, such as Brussels sprouts and broccoli. There are supplements that you can take, like protein shakes, which are on average around 24 grams of protein per shake. And then also there's meat sources like eggs and chicken and fish or steak. And depending on the size of the steak or the fish or the chicken that you're having, you're going to have to figure out how many grams that is. And on average, what I find is it's around 25. So if I'm having 25 grams of protein at each meal, then I need to have that 6 times in one day. And for me, that's completely doable because I really highly recommend protein shakes to get in your protein. You guys, the protein is the number one thing that we need to be getting in on a daily basis because that is what is building the cells in your body. And all of the cells in your body are dying every single hour, every day, every week, every year. Some of them turn over more quickly than others, and some of them take years to turn over, like heart cells and lung cells, but everything is always dying and being reborn with new cells, and we need the protein to form that structure. That amino acid is what is the building block of the cell. Okay, so we have to get on our protein. Now, the way that I eat, I have my carbohydrates targeted around my workouts. And so that's usually only about 3 times per day. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on 3, and that's going to show you how many carbs I get in those 3 meals. So I do my carbohydrates before my workout, after my workouts, and then usually the next meal after the workout again. So before my workout, after my workout, and then about an hour and a half later after the workout again. That's usually the last meal of the day. Now, sometimes I've got some stragglers, some straggle carbohydrates that I can throw in there, and that's great because on average for me as well, my carbohydrate intake per meal is around 24. Okay, so that's how you figure out carbohydrates per meal. And then what you're going to do for fat is you could kind of stay there with having fat at 3 meals, or you can up that to 4 meals and see how many fats that allows you per meal. Now, the important thing here is just to remember that you just need to get in the total amount of fat and carbs and protein. And some people do that in 2 meals, and that's okay, you guys. It's totally okay. But I would recommend to kind of break that down and utilize the science of nutrition that I'll be teaching you and how the body utilizes the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fats. All right. So this is how you actually calculate your macronutrients and figure out your numbers. Now, one of the things I want you to look at here is look at the numbers as a whole. So just look at the carbohydrates as a whole and figure out when you're going to have those during your day. If you're used to eating like a whole bunch of rice or something, you're going to want to start measuring your carbohydrates and figuring out how much is one serving. And one serving is going to be your macronutrients. So let's say you're doing 3 meals with carbohydrates in one day. In those 3 meals, you can have 31 grams of carbs, and then you need to be done. So you need to figure out how many carbohydrates are in that meal that you're eating. And once you hit that number, stop. Okay, so if you're going to have rice or you're going to have an apple before a workout, and then you're also going to have a protein shake before your workout, or just different meals during the day, you just need to track your foods for a little while to see how many carbs, how many protein, how many fats those foods are offering you. And if you're used to having like a whole avocado, then maybe just have a half of an avocado so that you can get the right amount of fat in instead of really, utilizing getting more than what you need at that one meal. So really, the thing I want to share with you here that's the most important is just make sure you get those macronutrients in each day. And I'm going to share with you another video on how I kind of keep track of my macronutrients. All right. And so I will do that in another video. All right, guys. So that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.